Let's start off with a what you need to know. What is going on in society that you may want to be brushed up on? Few things. There's a current lawsuit going on between the United States versus Google. The Department of Justice has accused the tech giant of violating antitrust laws by allegedly abusing its dominance in search and search advertising to suppress competition. A little bit more about it. The trial will center on Google's billions of dollars in payments to browser creators like Apple for ensuring its search engine will be the default. It will also touch on contracts, my apologies, with Android phone manufacturers requiring them to preload the app, which often can't be deleted. Officials say the result is a self reinforcing monopoly that has locked up 90% of the search query channels, obstructing competition. Google says users prefer its search engine and argues these agreements did not prevent other companies from developing or promoting their own search engines, i.e., Microsoft and Bing. Very interesting. I don't know how this is going to go down because there's definitely a monopoly in terms of search engines. Like Google dominates. I do use Bing, but we can all recognize the difference between the two, right? So it's an interesting situation. I'm curious to see how that kind of unfolds itself. There's a recent Biden impeachment inquiry. They plan to impeach Biden due to circumstances regarding Hunter Biden being over other countries and certain situations. I think it's called Burisma. I might have said that wrong. And whether or not he did certain things for financial gain. So there's an official impeachment out there. So all the conservatives, all the red Republicans, all the Trumpies can now feel a little bit more, have a little bit more closure. I think Kevin McCarthy is the one initiating it. So we'll see how everything kind of points out. Putin hosts Kim Jong-un about military support. So, I'm sure he's going to the most un-American-ish, friendly-ish, like the worst on most unfriendly people to America and going to them for help. Not surprised. Hunter Biden indicted on 3 federal firearm charges related to a 2018 gun purchase. NASA released its first report finding no evidence that suggests UAPs have an extraterrestrial origin. Rep. Lauren Boebert apologized for vaping and getting caught being vaping and getting caught being seen getting felt up in the theater. And then there's Russian and Ukraine genocide claim. So let me read that for you. Lawyers representing Ukraine and Russia squared off today at the International Court of Justice, arguing over the legal technicalities underlying the ongoing war. Ukraine accuses Russia of abusing international law by claiming its invasion of the country last February was an attempt to intervene and stop an ongoing genocide. So Russia is claiming Ukraine was genociding Russian citizens. Article 1 of the Geneva Convention requires signees, which includes Ukraine and Russia, to prevent and punish genocide. Russia has claimed Ukraine was systematically killing Russian-speaking populations in the eastern part of the country, obliging it to step in. So they're seeing if they can get... It's very interesting that Russia just now is trying to get this approved or get this squared off with the international... to be fair, they could have been working on this for a while. If proven right, then... I don't know. It would change my whole perception of this conversation if Russia was proven to be in the right in this situation, that Ukraine was genociding Russian civilians. It would be hard pressed for me to defend or acknowledge that Ukraine deserves my sympathy. But we're going to have to see. More evidence will come out, and then we'll have a better understanding of the circumstance. Okay. So, thoughts on the Hunter Biden inquiry or the Joe Biden inquiry? A funny thing is, when it comes to the Joe Biden inquiry, is that I saw a video, and I think this is a very smart video, and I think I might incorporate this more with guests who come on the show, allowing them to really explain their side. And I was watching Destiny while I was at work. And basically, Destiny was listening to a conservative kind of lay out the whole Brisma situation. And after he laid out everything, my takeaway is that, okay, I can kind of, based off, if you got more evidence, I can see why an investigation's at very least necessary. Okay, so I'm not bought that Joe Biden inherently did corrupt things. I think the evidence doesn't back that. But if they have more evidence that I didn't see in that video, an investigation may be warranted. Okay. So that's where I come from it. I'm more like, if people are doing corrupt things, they deserve to get investigated. So we'll see. While the shell companies, I mean, it's really hard for me to say. I don't really have an explanation. I just don't see that there's really direct evidence. Because the shell company situation they're using for circumstantial evidence to say that, he did this and that for potential financial gain based off his meeting at Brisma, right? And I see the circumstantial evidence, but without hard concrete proof to kind of prove it. And just because there are circumstances that are maybe odd, they could be odd, but unless they are proven to be correlated, then they're just coincidences. That's just what it is. And that can happen. It can. And I'm not saying Joe Biden's situation is a coincidence. I'm just saying I would need more direct evidence before I make a stronger claim about the circumstance. So that's where I come from it when based off what I've seen. It's not something I look into too in depthly because I don't really care about Joe Biden and in terms of that situation. But to be fair, maybe I should because he is a political leader. It's kind of the same thing with Donald Trump. If these individuals are political leaders that are going to take office, it's only fair for me as an individual who is invested into the political game or invested into what is going on in our country to probably make sure that the most up and up individuals are taking office. So to be fair, maybe that's something I should be taking into consideration a little bit more. My guy,
Yo, yo.
Paul, what's good?
Nothing much, man. Sorry for being late.
It's fine. It's fine. Start off. Did some what you need to know, some current events, and then I had someone in the chat kind of bringing up the Joe because one of the what you need to know things is Joe Biden's getting investigated for all the stuff that people think he's corrupt for. So it's interesting because I based on because I'm pretty sure you saw the Destiny video because I was watching that while I was at work,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I appreciated like just hearing all that information because I never really looked into it. I didn't really care that much at first, but after hearing all the evidence, I agree with Destiny's conclusion that it's more circumstantial. But worry having an investigation being brought up, I think is perfectly fine if they have more evidence that
Well,
that wasn't brought up.
the only thing I've ever been able to really say about the matter, I guess, is just simply, look, if they do find something against him, just throw him in jail. Like it's no big deal. Like I know some liberals that like kind of like stick it out for Hunter for some reason. I think it's stupid. And like Joe Biden himself has said, hey, look, my son does this thing and he's like convicted, then that's it. Like he's gonna go to jail, and I'm not gonna do anything to impede it. So yeah, I mean that's been the thing for me. As to the merit of some of the stuff, I still think we're kind of at that nothing burger point. But that being said, some of the information that's come out is a little bit of like an eyebrow raiser. However, like you stated, it is circumstantial. Also mirrored by Destiny.
So yeah, we'll see kind of how everything turns out, and it's only fair to make sure that when you have people in power that they are kind of coveted a little bit more thoroughly than others for obvious reasons.